Are there any other sort of marketing trends that you think that we are sort of maybe overcapitalizing on at the moment and don't really have much of a future?
I think we are at the cusp of a time when we really don't know where this technology would go. As we are saying, Google Glass died down, Metaverse, God knows what happened. Before that, Second Life came, brands were building inside there, doing currency and stuff like that. Even crypto seems to be going into a bit of a spin and don't know where it is going. So from a tech perspective, I think the tech guys can answer.
I don't have a specific example, but I fundamentally believe in the people's capacity to enjoying stories. And I feel that tech companies have tried to, or have washed our brains in 6 seconds formats. The brand needs to appear immediately, etc., etc. And probably, to some extent it works. But what I see is that when you, and by the way, let's not take examples out of advertising, but what I see is that when YouTubers, creators create 2-hour stories, they have 16 million views and people stay for 2 hours and no one tends to think, oh, what is this story about? Because a good story everyone will remember. So I hope that we have reached peak social where the constraints came from these big companies to tell us what we need to do, and that brands start experimenting again with new formats. For example, there has been a resurgence of websites, right? The website completely disappeared when Facebook arrived because obviously you didn't need it anymore. And suddenly websites have become again a place where you can actually, without the constraints of a big network, tell a story. It is still existing. So I think positive about it, and that I hope that we're coming out of the world of technical constraints and that we explore facets of storytelling. Look how podcasts are exploding, right? And you can still do some very good brand work with podcasts and they can last very long.
On the technical side, one thing that I feel is a bit overrated is everyone is talking about AI agents. And I think for simple things, they work fine. But for really meaningful things where you need to look at something, make a decision, send something out, based on that do something else, I think what happens in those kinds of chained agents is that uncertainty and errors kind of compound. And they compound to such an extent that the whole thing becomes useless. So it will resolve. I think there has to be some standards that get into this industry when it comes to integration with agents, but I think that's very much overhyped at the moment.